I'd like to call a meeting to order, budget workshop. Is there any public comments?
John DeBoyer. Here. Maureen Bory.
Here.
Oh, roll call.
Mark Bouchard.
Here.
Christy Hilton.
Here.
Chris O'Regan.
Here.
Cindy Valentine here. Artie Brayson.
Yeah, I'm here.
All here and accounted for.
Okay. Do we have any public comments? Any public comments? Okay. Moving on, we're going to do the fire first. And as you will all know, with fund balance accounting, which we have to do, we have to have a balanced budget. In other words, revenues equal expenses. And so at the bottom, we got to have zeros. And we have a pretty good idea, not 100% what our revenues are. So then we have to just prioritize our expenses accordingly. We're going to do fire first because we got some decisions to make. That's Fund 206. The property tax and everything, we're expecting a revenue of $1,642 or $1,698. This has really been frustrating. Just because duty wages right now, we're in the middle of union contracts, and quite honestly, we're probably going to go to arbitration. So I have no idea. I put in here about a 5.5% increase in wages, but I have no idea where it's going to end up and where holiday pay is going to end up. And some other expenses. So it's really...
What's the percentage the union's asking for right now?
Well, right now, we offer them a 4% increase this year because that's what the whole rest of the township is getting. They're somewhere between, I didn't figure out, 18 or 20%. And they came in, gave us their initial demand, and after we met with them 3 times, 2 other times, and we gave them a counter, they haven't gave us 1 proposal back. So it's kind of frustrating when you're in negotiation and nobody's negotiating.
So they're asking for 18 to 20%?
Yeah, they want about over $3 and over a $3 raise. And we're offering them a 3% pension plan, brand new, and other things. So
457 contribution.
yeah.
Yeah, I see that one up from 2,600 to 20,000. That's the pension for 7.
So that's where we're at there. So we have decisions to make.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said everyone got 4%. I thought it was 5%, or was that last year?
Last year.
5%. So you got 4.5% this year, right?
Last year is 5%. This year is 4%.
4, not 4.5.
No,
4%.
4.
And the pension 457K went from 2,600 to 20,000.
That's because it's a new plan we're offering to all the employees.
All right, and what is that, like a match plan?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, that's what we proposed to them.
So that's why you put that in there, okay.
Yep. So we allocated $305,000 of ARPA money to for a mini pumper, and that we have $60,000 we have to absorb in our budget, and I did put that in line item 971 towards the bottom. And also we have to match radios. The county's given us $60,000 towards radios, and it's going to require a $40,000 match. So, and that's gonna be out of the same line item, capital outlay, 971. And so you see, I bumped that up to, like last year it was 16,000, you know. But for it to absorb those two things, it's 120,000. There was asked for ARPA money for new garage doors on the island, and the roof needs repair. The garage doors, we estimate about 30,000 for 5 of them, and new roof is 8,000. So in line item 933, I have $38,000 for that. Then engine number 4, remember we have had a proposal to go through it and fix it and make it almost new for $40,000. And I put that in line item 931, vehicle maintenance, $50,000, because we usually have about $10,000 of repairs on other stuff. So that's in this budget. If you want to not replace all 5 doors on the island, we could just do the one that's damaged, you know, for almost, it's about $6,000. We could hack that out, or you know, it's the board's decision. And this is just the budget, you know, we don't have to spend it. But with all this stuff in, and to make it zero balance, we're pulling $250,000 out of this fund balance. So that's going to drop our fund balance down to 315,000. So I just want the board to be aware. We're budgeted this year, I'm estimating it's going to be close. It's going to be about break even. George did do a good job of building it up to, I mean, when he got in, it was down to nothing. And, you know, it's going to cut it almost in half with this budget. So.
What's the condition of the doors on the island station, other than the one that's damaged?
They all work, don't they? They're not insulated. We wanted to replace them anyhow. They're not insulated.
We have a maintenance guy comes in and makes sure that they're in proper working order. Biggest thing we have are gaps. And in the wintertime, when the wind blows out of that northwest, the backside, you know, it gets cold in there. We do monitor the heat, but if we have to just fix one this year, and then next year we go and fix the rest.
I think I mentioned this before as far as the insulation on the crack, about trying to do repairs on that, and you can buy packages to insulate doors. I don't know if that's an active that would work for that door as big as it is, but something to look at anyways.
The chief and I, we worked together on a couple of these issues throughout the last 3-4 years. We've had a couple of vendors out there, right? It's not an easy fix, and there's really no repair solution that's worth it, if you will. So I think the correct thing to do is to replace the doors. But to me, it comes down to heat loss, right? How much are we spending in heat loss? And right now it's tremendous, but there's a math equation that goes, you know, on a return on investment for the overhead doors. I mean, I support replacing the doors. They've needed it for probably 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, and you're manning that department a lot more now, so.
And those are the original doors
Yeah.
that were installed in the building when it was built.
And before, when we didn't have the firefighters over there as much.
I mean, we're not approving it, well, we're approving the budget.
We're talking about budgeting. I don't want to
Right,
get in the weeds too
Right,
much.
exactly.
But I know what he's after,
Yep.
and I think it's an important
Yep.
task.
And then to refurb the one engine 4, you know, that's 40 grand. But that would probably reduce our repair costs going forward if we keep the truck.
So I know a lot less about that. Is that a second engine on the island?
Mainland.
The mainland.
It's the backup engine for the mainland?
When we bought the new engines, we took a new one and put it on the island, and we took the old, the engine that was there, and we brought that over here on the mainland.
Okay. Can you give us an idea how much, throughout the year, how many times it goes out on an actual run?
That truck goes out on all our mutual aid runs. We keep our new trucks, our first run trucks stay here in the township and protect the residents here. And our second run truck is our mutual aid truck. That runs on all mutual aids
Gotcha.
outside the township.
So, just a second.
Yeah.
So George, what does the update consist of for that truck?
So,
What is the update? It says update engine 4. What does that consist of?
that would be going through, repainting it, going through the pump, and then installing some shelves in it, pull-out shelves in it.
Seals and stuff.
Yeah.
Is the truck serviceable now?
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
It would probably, according to the chief, it would probably give us another 15, 20 years, right?
Yeah. It passes its pump test every year. We have it pump tested every year. It passes its pump test. We do the PMs faithfully on it every year. Anything goes wrong with it, I bring in a mechanic to fix it right away. We don't let it sit.
And that's a high estimate. When he gets into it, it could be 15 grand.
Right.
I just, you know, you budget for the worst.
Can we go over the macro a little bit more? I mean, Chief, what do you want to do to go after this difference, if you will? Are you comfortable going into your fund balance? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think our fund balance is there to help us. We do need a new mini pumper on the island. That truck over there is almost 30 years old. It's a manual transmission. When the truck was bought from Ira Township, when they had it, it was a two-wheel drive. They ended up putting a four-wheel drive on it. Then they ended up putting a cab system on it. So there's a lot of things that have been added to this truck. Pumping it, there's like 6 different steps that you have to take to put this truck in pump gear.
Yeah, and I support a new mini pump.
Right.
I'm just questioning like how you're going to pay for it. Are you comfortable going into your fund balance?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
It's 60 grand in the fund balance for that, right?
Pardon?
It's 60 grand.
Yes. And that's what I believe the fund balance is for,
Right,
for
right.
emergency purchases or emergency sales.
But we are reducing the fund balance 45%. Are you comfortable with that?
Right now, we're sitting pretty well with our equipment that we have. We do have 2 new engines. We have our air packs. We do have a grant in for radios, portable radios. Hopefully we do get that. So we're sitting pretty good. Our bunker gear is pretty much up to date. I've been buying a few sets every year, so that keeps us where we don't have to make that major purchase on bunker gear. So, I mean, we've been maintaining really well with the necessities that we need.
But you'd be okay to whack fund balance 45%? You're comfortable with that?
I am comfortable to buy a new mini pumper or go into my fund balance to buy a piece of equipment for our department and for the residents.
When's the last time we had a major hit in the fund balance? And for what?
Well, I was going to say before Chief took over, he took over, it was under 100 grand.
I thought it was much less.
Yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe 30?
I thought 27, but
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't recall exactly.
So
So-
we haven't used it.
You're right.
Well, and how much is the grant you're working on, Chief, that will add if we get the grant?
Which one?
Which grants are you working on?
Well, we're working on 2 grants. Actually, we have one in for the AFGE, and that's for portable radios. That's around a $200,000 grant for portable radios to replace all our portable radios. The county is talking about going encrypted, so we need to be ready for that when it does happen. Our radios are over 20 years old. They don't even make the parts for those radios anymore.
Well, we've got 60,000 in the balance for the radios, so if we get
Those
that,
are for,
that'll take
those
out
are
that
for,
60.
those are for our mobile radios.
Different
for our
radios,
trucks.
okay. Shares of mini radios, mini compound radios, okay. So the grants, if we get them, are not gonna change this balance at all? It'll just update more equipment? Am I
Well, we
understanding that
may
right?
have to pay a 5%, 5 or 10% fee, I'm not sure. I believe we fall into the 5% fee if we get that AFG grant.
Okay,
And then we have to pay also for the programming or the templating of these radios. That's a one-time fee.
Yeah, a lot of it. Any questions, or?
I think we have to buy the mini pumper. Didn't your ad say we already bought it?
Well, Chief, you know, at the last meeting, we asked if we can get an extension. They gave us the extension until tomorrow. Otherwise, the price is gonna go up. So, of course.
That was the only one we didn't approve last meeting.
Yep.
I think we need it. It's gonna take some wear and tear off the big engine as well.
Well, we'll be able to get to access points where we can't get to them now.
Right, small bridges, tight areas.
Okay.
Got a question on training wages. We budgeted 62 last year, 62,000, 25 this year. Why such a reduction?
Because they only used 16 this year.
Okay, so what did we base the 62 on?
Not really sure.
Chief?
Maybe we were hopeful.
I think in our last budget meeting, we discussed the big push for getting them some training down
Right.
there because of the newness of most of the members.
Yep.
I think Chief has found some creative grants that he could send them to class with, and which has kind of helped reduce the costs a little bit. And
So other than the-
availability of classes is also an issue.
Other than the required training, what training would you be offering?
Well, we were looking at doing the flashover training, and that's through Oakland Community College. That's where they bring this unit in. And it shows the firefighters how a flashover starts and how to get out of it. And that's quite expensive, and I was looking at doing a joint with Marine City, Algonac, and IRA by bringing this unit in and then dividing the cost up, which would be around $2,000 per department. That was some of the
Have you discussed that with the other members for mutual training?
I have, yes, and they were interested in it.
It seems fair to me. I mean, we budgeted 62,000, but we only spent 16, so 25, I think you picked a good number already.
We did buy some training mannequins out of this budget, airways, so the firefighters can practice putting in king tubes and the oropharyngeal airways.
Well, flashover is an important training aspect. You know, apart from having it in their requirements, to have an annual basis of that type of training is.
We try to do ice rescue, but every time we try to do it,
There's no way.
there's no ice.
You're doing a good job with that.
Yeah.
The payroll taxes, the FICA went down. If they have to.
I always go take a percentage, 0.765% of wages for payroll tax.
We were talking about having to pay more, so I just wondered why that number went down.
Based off of the wages.
Right, but we don't know what the wages are gonna be. Did you raise the wages, your 5%, and then take it off that?
No, it's a percentage of the wages, so,
Does that wages include overtime?
yeah, total wages.
So payroll tax.
His insurance went up, oddly enough. Fire department is the only department that insurance went up. All the other departments, it actually went down. His went from 25,000 to 31,000, probably because of accidents happening all around the state in fire departments.
Which line is that? Because I see health insurance.
It's 910.
Okay.
Over 50%, huh? Of course, the insurance is going up all over, no matter who you are or where you're at.
We had it budgeted at 25,000, we only spent 11.5. We're going up to 31. Went up a lot.
Of course, we don't know what the insurance is going to be yet. Do we have any idea
Well,
what the insurance?
so the insurance, we already approved the insurance for this coming year, that's where we got the 31
Yeah.
from. But the insurance, like right now, they give us the policy for the whole year, so if we buy something new, it's not reflected until the following year. So I think
We got new
this
trucks.
policy, our the 2 new trucks and our airboat caught up to us. It's kind of like workman's comp, it runs the year behind and it catches up with you a year and a half, 2 years later, because it's
Our
based
risk
off-
is higher.
based off of an audit they do of past wages, and this is past inventory, so.
Okay.
Are we good here?
I'm good.
Do we want to jump ahead and make a motion to buy a mini pumper right now, or wait?
Apart from calling a meeting tomorrow.
Well, it's on the agenda.
Yeah, it's on the agenda.
It's just not on the agenda until after we're done, but I'm sure Chief's got things to do. If he'd like to know, I think we can go ahead and take care
Well,
of it.
it's gonna go up in price tomorrow, and, I mean, I thought we should have bought it last meeting. I'll make the motion to purchase the mini pumper and take $305,000 out of the ARPA funds, and the remainder from the 2024-25 budget.
Support.
Okay, have motion support, any more discussion?
For a total of, what was the total?
60,
360.
It was 369 or something, 64, 9.
I don't need a total.
$364,208.73.
Would you like to amend your motion to reflect that number, Maureen?
Sure, I'll amend the motion to take the remainder between $364,208.73, less the $305,000 from the ARPA funds, take that difference from the 24-25 budget.
let that reflect this line item 206-000-971.
You good with still supporting that, Mark?
Support. Yeah.
All right, any more discussion?
What line item, Artie?
It's going to be 971, capital outlay improvement over $5,000. The bottom one right before, above
Where's the
assets.
120,000 is, right? It says share of mini, which is a mini pumper every year. That way it can be confirmed, like in the flyer it's bought.
call.
Yep, roll call, please.
Cindy Valentine, yes. Chris O'Regan,
Yes.
Christy Hilton,
Yes.
Mark Bouchard,
Yes.
Maureen Bory,
Yes.
John DeBoyer,
Yes.
Artie Bryson.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Motion passed. All right. Next, let's go back to General 101. And this, we are anticipating getting $2,307,773. And, this covers everything from building and everything else. I did put in here, under building permits, I think we have to put in a $75 re-inspection charge. How it works, if we have to re-inspect something, if something wasn't up to par, we gotta go back and check it. We have to pay our inspector to do that, but we're not charging the end user anything. So, I think we should add, I'm just throwing it out there right now, a $75 re-inspection fee. Otherwise, we're losing money on the building permit if we have to re-inspect it once. So I'm just throwing that out there. As far as the revenue side.
So there's currently no reinspection fee at all?
Yes, right,
Zero?
right. So all the labor is going up 4%. Trustee salary, the elected offices, we're keeping the statutory salary the same. We're putting the total raise of the package in other duties. Really trying to think of what other big changes are. We not anticipating any big or strange expenses, although we're going to be losing, Cindy Babish is going to be retiring. And so under building administration wages for transfer of knowledge or something, I think we should hire somebody to replace her back like in October. So that would be so they would get some knowledge transfer before Cindy leaves. So I did put an extra $25,000 in the budget for that. And I have that we paved Falkert Road. So the road cash for road repair is $160,000. Remember, we don't collect a road tax. And under planning too, we're looking at new planners to hire. So I did bump that up in anticipation we may be paying more for a planner. I bumped it up from $12,000 to $18,000.
The water and sewer administration fee?
Yes, that went up 4%. Did I reflect that?
No, it should be 46,565.
Oh, okay, I'll have to amend that.
37.
And I do have the general down towards the bottom, 999-999-99908 is a transfer of $150,000 to Parks and Rec. I wrote a grant for the Harson's Isle Nature Park for 400, and we have to do 25% match, so we would have to match 100 grand. Well, another 50 grand will finish the whole project. So I have that transferring out of our general and to Parks and Rec for that. And if we did that, I could adjust the grant from a 25% match to a 37% match, which would give us a lot more points for that grant too. I mean, I hate to be 50 grand of not finishing a $500,000 project, you know?
But the points after the fact really still helps us?
Oh, yeah.
For
Well,
next-
it's
for
not
future
done.
grants?
In August, they will give me a preliminary score and ask if there's anything you want to do to improve your score.
So we haven't gotten the grant yet,
No,
but you're just planning
anticipating,
for it.
but you got to put it in the budget in case we do. This wouldn't happen if we don't get the grant.
It's a lot, from 26,000 to 150. That's the park that you wanted to put the bird watching area.
Yeah, the handicap, kayaking, bird watching area, dock going out, the fishing platform, and a public bathroom on the island, which it desperately needs.
Over kind of by the schoolhouse, right?
Mhm. In fact, I have the head of Eagle coming out tomorrow, and that's one of the sites he's going to look at. It's coming out from Lansing.
Oh, what are they just to look at this park, or what are they coming out for?
Oh, I got 5 sites to look at. I'm going to convince them that Eagle's been doing an overreach of their authority, hopefully.
What other sites?
We're talking about the budget
All
now.
right, well, you could tell me after.
Any questions on this?
Well, you guys know how I feel about it. I'm not gonna be okay with these salaries and these other duties.
Well, I don't understand, and we've had this conversation multiple times. By separating it, it keeps the treasurer, the supervisor, and the clerk more accountable to the trustees. Because if we're not doing our job, you can reduce our salary.
And if you
if
don't
it-
vote together, then you don't give each other the money either. I'm not
If,
for it.
if they were together, a board could not lower our salary. You can't do it, it's against state law. But if I decide not to show up to work, and you could lower my salary in half. I don't understand your logic.
I've asked you for proof of this. I know you give me a one sheet, but it's not like an audit would be. Overseeing the fire department. What does that mean? What are you doing for this $40,000? I want to know every month an hourly report.
I get my supervisor's report.
Well, that doesn't tell how many hours you spent on each of these duties that are supposed
Okay,
to be
let's do this.
not a supervisor
Maureen,
duty.
I mean, I don't want to get chippy
You
here.
told me to come in here and just watch you, and that's not acceptable.
I don't want to get chippy. Grant writers, if they're successful, get 10% of the grants they get.
Why don't you tell me how many times?
I got probably $6.5 million in grants this year. Want to pay me 10% of that, and I'll do everything else for free.
You got that all by yourself. Nobody helped you write any of those grants.
Pretty much.
Well, we know that's not true.
I don't
I
know.
know you've gotten some help on that. Christy and Cindy don't write grants. You each get the exact same amount of money, which is very suspicious.
So,
How do you do the exact same amount of extra duties?
explain to me how the way we get paid controls the trustees voting.
Because if y'all don't vote together, you only just got to get one more vote from us. So you kind of contract within yourselves for this money, right? Don't the 3 of you sign something? That's what I see from the form. The 3 of you sign.
We have a contract with the board,
Oh, the 3 of you sign it.
and it's with the
I'm
board.
not saying I give you your money. I want to report it, so it's not misinformation to the people of
Okay.
what you make.
This year I make $78,000. The
Let's
whole
put it
world
in
knows
salary.
it.
Let's
The
put
whole world knows it.
Well, let's put it in there.
It is, under 2 line
No,
items.
I want to put it in our salary, I'm not going to.
Because that's,
Listen, I don't,
yes,
okay? I don't.
because I wouldn't be accountable.
You lost the vote. It was 6-1.
All right, well, I just have to bring it up
Until it
because
comes up again, it's a moot point.
And you really
We
need
voted
to
on it.
respect the wishes of the board as a whole. I do. Sometimes the board votes the way I don't see fit, but I still carry it out.
well, I don't think
What's your point?
the people feel.
No, what is your point?
My point is, I, along with many of the people, feel it is misrepresentation of what their income really is. You can see the
So do you
comparative
think they're
income.
overpaid?
I think it needs to be reported accurately, what their salary is. That's what they're making. It's how it needs to be reported.
Okay. So we had a vote on this. And you lost 6-1.
It's
And
fine.
since that time,
Every year we have the
you
budget.
have.
You tell me you can bring it up at the
consent
budget. I'm
agenda
bringing it up.
Every single time since that vote.
And every time I talk about it, you say you can bring it up at the budget. We're having budget meetings, I'm bringing it up.
Okay.
You guys can vote against me, but I've got to put it out there. I want to see auditing of what is done for this 39, almost $40,000.
Are you,
I wanna
why don't
see-
you jump in and do the auditing?
That means I've got to watch them work every day?
That's part of our job.
Oh, I've got to come in here from 7:30
That's
to
part of our
5:30 every, I'm supposed to be here from 7:30 to 5:30 every day
Oh, don't be
and
silly.
see what they do? Well, that's what Artie told me. You can come in and watch what we do. That's not reporting. Anybody who has a job is supervised. This money is $120,000, should be supervised, should be reported.
So you saw our list of duties. Are there things that you feel are not being done?
The things I think are very general, such as Artie watches over the fire department. What does that mean?
It means that every day that he's here, whenever George needs to stop in and talk to him about something, George stops in and he's here.
So, that's not what a supervisor's supposed to do?
What are the statutory
That's not the
duties of the
statutory
supervisor?
Well, you're supposed to do assessing, which we pay very heavily for. And that's your job, but
Garbage.
most supervisors aren't.
I got a whole list of statutory duties.
Township supervisor is the supervisor of the township in general and the legal signer on things. He's not the supervisor of every single person in the township.
Well,
You're supposed to set the tax roll, not do the assessing. Read it.
I can read it, I've got it right in my bag, but
Okay.
it's mute point, because you guys just don't agree, so,
Well, I'm just correcting the statement that you made that's inaccurate.
well, I'll read it.
Yeah, Christie, I would like to commend you because we budgeted $29,000 in interest earnings.
Yes.
And it's gonna hit about 140,000 if not more.
In the
So,
general
Great job.
and more. I mean,
That's just the general.
yeah, I mean, township-wide, with Christie's efforts, earned over $200,000 in interest.
Which doesn't hurt that interest for most people went up, in there to 5% in a lot of places. So Christie's
So
doing a
you're-
great job, but
Okay.
it's also the economic times, so it's a little both.
I think is what she's looking for is accountability on the non-statutory duties. And it could be simple, on a simple form. You got your statutory, your non-statutory. Just put some hours down on whatever it is you think that you did for that non-statutory. It's accountability. Sure, it's another piece of paperwork, but I think it's something that we need to see. I don't have a problem with the statutory or non-statutory compensation. I mean, it started pre-2016 to 2012. It started from the old boards. It's something that's been in place, and the state of Michigan sanctions it.
Yep.
Okay?
They
So
do.
I haven't got a problem with it, but again, she's looking for accountability, and I think that's something we should.
So you want us to fill out a timesheet?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a timesheet.
Daily
You got
planner.
statutory duties, or I'll let you develop the form yourself.
All right,
Do something.
okay. That's easy. All right, any other questions on the general? All right,
Taking a lot of money for that.
All right, let's go to 207, police. Again, we are getting $3,836,000. We have in this budget, we're getting some new desktop computers for the department. And car modems and laptops for the cars. We have a car repair that was damaged. It's going to be $12,000. We thought we better not put it into our insurance just because their insurance went down, oh, where's that number, to 11? What line item is insurance? Oh,
910,
I didn't reflect the decrease in, yeah, it went from 52 to 40. So, and we want, they want to put some new video recording security in the station. So other than that, it's pretty much business as usual. Again, 4% raise, union contracts.
Looks like 10% on the command wages.
Well, that was because they were understated. Because we're gonna, year end's gonna be at 385.
Yeah, well, 385 to 424, isn't that about 10%? I'm trying to get my phone out so I can calculate. 10% of 385 is about 4.
And they're doing steps too.
I don't understand what steps are.
Well, they get paid at a higher rate after being here so many years. They have steps.
So it is 10%.
And truthfully, in this, I had some fudge, some slack. So instead of having a balance at the bottom, I divvied up some money in other accounts.
The Ira patrol wage is almost double from what we actually paid.
Yeah, they're looking at maybe going 24 hours. But I didn't reflect that in our income.
It is or it's not?
They're thinking about it. It's their decision.
The increase in uniform allowance, what's that all about?
Uniform allowance. Well, it ends up to be about $25,000. If there's money left over, they will use it before the end of the year. You know, you look at the contract with the police and what they're allowed to get.
That doesn't include bulletproof vests or anything?
No. I think we bought vests, what, 2-3 years, Mike here? No.
I know there's an expiration date on them.
Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah, he usually comes, he's not here today.
So, Mr. Supervisor, can you review the command wages one more time with me? So I'm looking at 23-24, we budgeted what, 335?
Yep. I'm estimating it's gonna be 385.
You're estimating, or that's what it is this year? You're
It's-
estimating 424?
I'm estimating 385 at the end of this year.
I believe we put Officer Broccoli in a
Corporal,
position.
and it wasn't in our
before that was
budget.
budgeted.
Remember,
Now I do.
yeah, we put him in
Yes.
corporal.
We just didn't amend the budget for it.
So that's why command's over and
Yep.
patrol's under?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Went from one to the other.
Thank you, I knew there was something.
So our end of year budget amendments will have to, that'll be one of the things that we'll be amending, so keep in mind as well.
What is the comparison from the command wages with other municipalities?
I've never looked.
I think maybe someone should.
You're saying, are you saying
Compare it to
patrolman
Township.
is under and command is over?
If you look at what was budgeted, the 787.5 and where we're at.
Yeah, we moved broccoli from patrol to command.
That's 40 grand less than what we budgeted.
But we're also went up 10% with what we've actually spent. It's not 5%, 744.
The wages are going up 4%. I probably put a little bit extra money in there because I have to divvy it up somewhere.
That's
Well, that's
not the end,
774,000
that's not the ending
4%.
wages. We still have 2 payrolls to put in here.
Yeah, we have 2 more payrolls.
But you estimated the end.
Yeah.
It's 744, 548, so 4% added onto that would be 774, and we got it at 832,
Mm-hmm.
which is 60,000.
They'll probably be
more.
under budget next year.
I mean, this is big money when, you know, we're beating.
We're
Chief
actually
Farrell's
one
over the
patrol
close
guy,
on
we're actually one
150,000.
patrol guy understaffed. So that doesn't account for it.
Saying it's big money.
Mm-hmm. And we're one patrol guy, you know, which equals what, 70 grand?
Do you have an idea how much it costs when on a turnover rate that we have when officers leave and come back and have to recall them and retrain them, stuff like that?
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I figured a cop a year costs 90 grand. By the time you figure out car, uniform, gun, wages, healthcare,
Broken down to minutia, yeah.
yeah, right down the line.
And what is our turnover rate? If there's a cost,
I don't have that number handy. I don't know if Lisa or if Lisa, Cindy would or not.
not that we need to discuss it now, but I think
Right.
we've had previous discussions.
It's lower than other departments, but all the departments are having a hard time hanging on people. The sheriff, I know they're in a world of hurt, the county. Everybody, law enforcement and fire departments.
And we are doing something with environmental retention for the officers. You get them to come to work anyways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're remodeling the thing, so. Okay, any big questions here?
Is there any communication between us and Ira, us and Algonac about the resource officer for the high school?
I communicate with the school a lot.
Yeah, and I'm talking about
Yeah,
giving up them
I
wages.
suggested that, you know, I'm not sure, I think we're 50% clay, maybe 60% clay, I'm not sure the exact percentage, I'm just guessing here, 30% Algonac, 20% in Ira in the school, and I've suggested that to the other 2 entities, and they're not going to come up. Sure, Clay, I'll pay for part of it. You know, I'll give you 10 grand for that or 15 grand. But
So there's really no movement.
no,
We're just going to absorb that,
yeah.
which
I mean,
it's a necessary cost.
it is. I wouldn't.
And all the schools are in Clay Township.
The schools
Although
are in.
the
That's
kids
our
come
argument.
from
Schools
Ira.
are in Clay Township. They're in our jurisdiction, and like I say, I'd have trouble sleeping at night if we pulled our resources.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
resource officers are very valuable in so many ways, not only protection of the students in the schools, but the interfacing with the students and the
Yep.
general public and the parents, and it's just,
Yep.
It's remarkable what goes on in that school because of him.
Exactly. So, yeah, I went down that road, but I didn't have too much luck, Chris, but thank you.
The video security, did you talk about that already? Did I miss it?
Yeah, that's an added cost. He wants the updated video security for the police department.
Spend 5,400, we're gonna go up to 18,000. So that's what, cameras on the outside, on the inside?
Both.
And then on the assets, the real property taxes, that's where the millage money is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it went from 2.8 million to 3.045? Because we went from 4.5 to 4.85, right? In the
No,
millage?
the millage is the same.
Was it 4.85?
Yep, there's no tax increase.
Right. I thought we went up a little.
Nope.
But it can go up to 10 if we want.
Yep.
And how long is that for? Forever?
Yep, pretty much. They passed it back in mid-'80s, I believe.
But there could be a 10% police millage if we want it? Okay. And that's just at the will of the board, right? So we've been doing good keeping it down. All right.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Parks. Let's get into parks. Yay, parks. All right, this is showing a revenue because of grants. I mean, usually it's a lot less, but showing a revenue of 1.303, $1,333,000. And that's provided we get the 400 grand for the DNR grant for the island. We don't know, but I got to put it in the budget. And we've received the Spark grant for $584,000 to redo our playground. And I show the $150,000 transferred from the general fund to parks. And I'll know for sure, but I have the DDA. We have ARPA money coming. Let me go down to the bottom. We have ARPA money coming from the county for $125,000 to purchase a new stage. It has to go out to bid. I'm going to be working on putting that out for bid for the ARPA rules. But I do have one quote. It's gone up since we started this process to $147,000. And we also received $176,000 for outdoor exercise equipment and other amenities in the park from the county. Same thing, ARPA money. I'm not sure if those have gone up or not, but I'm anticipating that they might have gone up 20 grand. So I was going to have in the DDA, they would supplement the difference from inflation to what we're getting if needed. So
You've got DDA written there, but really it's DDA with county, right?
yeah, the DDA is going to take up the slack.
So the county gave 125 for the stage.
Yep,
And they gave 176 for the outdoor equipment, right?
yep,
So you didn't add anything to the DDA there, but you got DDA.
yes. So, other than that, we're keeping everything the same. We have typical expenses with, electric and utilities and running the splash pad and all that stuff. But then it shows in capital outlay, $1,154,000 for all 4 items.
And what's the Parks and Rec millage?
There isn't one.
Oh, because you got Parks and Rec millage.
We get some money back from the county's millage.
I didn't think we paid millage. That's the county, okay.
And with this budget too, we'll still have a fund balance around 57,000 in Parks and Rec.
What is the apple?
Yeah.
That's what's okay.
What's the what?
Never mind. I got
Okay.
it.
The beginning is 110, we'll have
Yeah.
57 left. Well,
But like I say, we're not sure if we're gonna get the DNR grant.
yeah, there could be a lot of amendments.
So. That
I
happens.
asked Artie if he's comfortable to spend 50% of his budget of his end balance.
Are you already?
Yep.
Okay. Equal opportunity asks.
Thanks, Maureen, for pointing that out. It slipped my mind.
Yep. This year, we're anticipating putting about 6 grand back in.
I mean, 6 grand back in is going down, right?
This current year.
Oh, okay, yeah, from 110 to 116, and now that's gonna go down to 57 next year. But that might not happen, depending on what we spend, so, yeah.
Depending on, if we get the grants or not, so. All right. We good here?
Yep.
All right, what's next? Cemetery. This is always the hardest one. I have to estimate how many people are gonna die. But, it's in good shape. Estimating $55,000 coming in. And, $55,000 in expenses. This year, we're probably gonna take out or lose $5,000 in fund balance, but our fund balance is, it's gonna probably be goes from 38,000 to 33,000. We do have a perpetual care balance, which we're not touching, of almost 78,000. But actually, the cemetery's been doing pretty good as of late. I'm sure John, he can contest. There was times where every year we had to supplement this budget from general.
Yeah, there's nothing from general going in, is there?
No, nothing.
That's a big change.
That's definitely a change. So,
Good.
any questions on that?
The columbarium plaques, did they come out of last year's? We just approved that.
This
right?
current year.
Okay.
You know, Cindy changed the plan on those, that was a good idea. And the pricing of them.
All right. Next, my favorite one, ambulance fund, brand new. And how our auditor said, because of the year, how the calendar split up when we get the money, half of the revenue is from last year's tax and half of it is from this coming year's tax. So we're gonna collect $293,000 and we turn all right around and give it to our ambulance company, $293,000. But that's that fund, zero fund balance, money in, money out. Actually, there will be a fund balance. It would be half of the tax we collect this year. I didn't figure that out. Any questions on that? park, which we have a concert tonight, 7 o'clock in Algonac. It's a good country and western band. Again, we're anticipating $18,500 in revenue. And actually I didn't put the contingency fund. Our expenses, it's going to be $17,325. So we'll be actually making a little over $1,000. And we have a fund balance of $17,000 in music in the park.
So the equipment rental, is that a cost?
Yeah, that's for the stage, which we won't have next year, hopefully.
That's the point I want to make.
Yep. So we're going to be saving $5,000 there. And we'll also be saving more money in the Parks and Rec budget too. This is separate. We split this with Algonac.
Sponsor's got a nice bump, huh?
Yep. Garbage.
What's the other income? I was just curious, the 2,500?
That was a grant that we got.
Okay.
Okay, our garbage, we collect $968,000. And you can see our expenses. We have to pay our DPW guys because they spend time over there. Our garbage contract this year is going up 2%. And also I'm putting in about 20 grand for fuel surcharges. I just want to make it noted in 21, before this contract, we were paying $12.53 per stop per month. In the old contract. After next year, we're still below that rate. And our garbage tax rate has not gone up for 9 years. Our contract with Emterra, we're still paying less than what we did, what, 5 years ago?
You said 968,000, but it's 868,000.
Oh, 868, okay.
And it would have been $1 million savings with priority waste.
No, not necessarily, because they were sold and they had a real mess. So don't even go there. We are paying less next year than we were 5 years ago.
Well, the board voted priority in, and then, you know, it worked out we couldn't have them, so.
Sometimes a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while, and this turned out to be a very good contract for us. Okay, Phragmites. I just had to change this because I don't think the state's going to fund a Marsh Master for us. So basically we have just under $5,000 coming in and just under $5,000 going out. It's mostly in chemical sales. And it shows it break even at the bottom. And our fund balance is, that's not going to be right, it's about $10,000.
Who gives the donations?
People that buy the chemicals from us, we train them and teach them.
Okay.
We've gotten a lot of donations. We've had people donate, we have 2 boats they donated. We have a trailer with a tank that we can treat the Phragmites spray. We've gotten quite a few donations actually. It's a very popular program. I was hoping to have 250 grand in there for a Marsh Master, but I doubt that happens.
Well, they're just buying it, they're just not letting us have it, right?
Well, we're trying to figure it out. Okay, the DDA, this is going to be up to the DDA to approve, but they're going to capture Well, they're gonna capture about 316,000, and after interest earnings and everything, they're gonna realize about $331,000. And let me scroll to the bottom, actually. This is what we're proposing. The DDA always does a music in the park sponsorship for $2,500. Sponsor $1,000 for the antique boat show. And they've been sponsoring $5,000 for Sturgeon Fest, Scarecrow Fest, and about 3 other things in there. And $1,100 for the webcam up in the museum's webcam. As far as projects, I got, help with the stage and help with exercise equipment. The DDA sign as you come into town got destroyed in the storm, the windstorm, and then DDA had a sign for Elginak High School this way, Muskrats, and that got taken out too. I'm in the process of getting quotes for that. And they called me, they are interested in helping out with the community garden. So, as far as plans going forward, next year when we do the water main replacement along M29, the DDA wants to pay to fill in the ditches and make that deep ditch along M29 disappear. And they're doing the engineering on that right now and getting permits from MDOT. They're looking at between a 15 and 18-inch culvert to run along it. They bury it and everybody ties into it. And every 100 feet or so it'll have an opening and to drain into that. So I don't have an estimate on that yet. And after that, I know there's interest in putting in a sidewalk from Island to Muskrat Run on M29. So because those two projects will be costly, I'm trying to build the balance back up. And after this budget, they'll probably have a balance around $600,000, which should pay for the ditching project.
What about the camera they were going to put at the pier?
Yeah, they're still looking at that. They're looking at doing either a web camera at the Pearl Beach Pier like we have in Elginak, and possibly doing an underwater webcam. And we're going to set a camera underwater just to see, temporarily, just to see what we see. And we'd be in hopes of seeing some sturgeon and walleye and stuff come through there. I know they have them in Florida. Deerfield Pier has one, and a few others, so they're kind of cool.
That's what I thought you were going to say too about the webcam. Maybe they can take some money out of the garden and, because we could really use a webcam at that
It's a
pier,
DDA
especially
decision.
the bathrooms. Well, you can make a recommendation, I'm
Yep.
sure. And it's $316,000. That's all county tax money, right?
Majority of it is some in state.
Okay. County and state taxes. We don't pay into that. Township. And then,
How it works, when the DDA is formed, there's a bar that's set. And any additional tax money from the DDA investing back into the district, the increases, the DDA captures the difference between what it was and what's new. If you follow me. So everything that below that bar still goes to the county. Anything above that is captured and stays here in the district and has to be invested in the district.
I was just wondering if the second one is formed for Harson's Island, will it be about the same amount or?
No.
It'll be a lot less?
It depends on how much it goes up. There'll be a bar set, and then as the values go up, the taxable values, they keep the difference.
Okay.
So the older the DDA is, the more
More
revenue
they
they're
capture.
bringing.
So this one will still get more money than Harson's because it's newer.
Yeah,
Even though we're in the same township, it wouldn't be split.
no,
Got it.
No,
So we have no idea how much it'll be. It just
no idea.
depends.
The money has to stay money collected for the district can only be spent in the district.
A lot of DDAs I know, work from just donations, or there aren't even DDAs, so I guess.
That's why we can't use DDA money for the Colony Tower, for instance. Okay?
Hey, what are the chances that the signage for the DDA in the high school are, do you have them hooked in with Phillips?
Yeah,
You do?
yeah, I'm getting quotes right now.
And if there could be a commonality, that
Yep.
should go a long ways,
Yeah, exactly.
right? We've got the island on board,
Mm-hmm.
all of our postmarks on the front end, back end of the township.
Yep, they measured them about 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago.
Okay. But it's through Phillips right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Be nice if there were commonality, that's all.
Yep, for sure. They'll probably mimic the DDA sign now. That's what I told them to do.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. And the drug task force, that's just, we have 8,000 left, and I just put 8,000 available to be spent under capital outlay, and sometimes we use it for police stuff, and sometimes we don't. It's there, and so I show it. Our ARPA, I show, and here's all the improvements down here. ARPA outlay for fire department is 305. So total expenditures for our ARPA was $686,000. So we have 718, plus we got 15,000 in interest, we have 733. We spend that 686, we're still gonna have a balance of $46,000, but I got an unknown, and I was hoping to have it before today on what that Colony Tower is gonna cost. In fact, I just emailed the guy, hey, last week, he said I'd have it this week, and I emailed him yesterday, and still don't have a number, an estimate on what that's gonna cost. I mean, that could be anywhere from 80 grand to 140 grand, I have no idea. But I did find that we have the stencil for the letters for the colony on top, so that will save a little bit of money. So,
Phillips sign gonna put it up there too?
what? No, whoever paints it will. So like I say, potentially we have, some, 40, 50 grand left in ARPA that we're gonna want to spend before the end of this coming year. And so we can throw that somewhere, help the fire department out, or somewhere. I just wanted you to know that's still available, but we don't have an exact figure as of yet.
When's the deadline for earmark?
We have to have it committed by the end of this year.
It has to be obligated by the end of 2024 and expended by the end.
Yeah, and the next year. And because of accounting reasons, we have to kind of figure out, the accountants wanted me to see what we're spending this year and next year in federal money and stuff, ARPA money. Federal money from the county this year that we collected this year is $2,886,000, and next year is going to be $4,735,000. And that number is actually likely going to go up. So, because we got to do it's called a single audit. So, this current year we're going to have to do it, be the first time, and next year we're going to have to also do that single audit. If you get more than $1 million in federal money, you have to deal with a single audit.
Yeah, the 2.25 for 25 is not for sure yet. I mean, I know it's a good chance for the algae, but,
No, that's from Lisa McLean.
well, the email you sent us said, you know.
That's another 2.5, that's a second one.
Oh, the email you sent said they were still voting on it.
What?
The email you sent showed they were voting on it.
Yeah, that's from Gary Peters, that's a different 2 million.
So that'll be for the next phase? So you're
That-
saying
that would be
altogether we'll
for-
get 6?
Yes.
Got it.
Right now, we have $4.25 million for that project.
I didn't see the,
And potentially, we have another 2.25 million.
Are we doing the Harson's Island Sewer Fund right now?
Yep. No, not yet. Okay, our sewer, again, we have the interceptor project going on. So revenues, we got a federal grant for $1 million. And Ira's gonna pay for half at $600,000. It's gonna go towards it. Under wages, they bumped it up a little more. We have to hire an operator because our expertise is leaving us through people retiring. And we're in need to hire someone that knows how to operate a backhoe and bulldozer or whatever, you know, something. So I put some extra money, and that's split between sewer and water. We have $87,500. It goes for capital expenses to the South Water Authority. And our sewer interceptor, the bids came back at $2,167,000. I put $220 because, you know, there's always scope changes, the scope and things. So I think it's pretty cool that we're able to do this project, and we're talking about a reduction of our fund balance less than $500,000, $487,000.
You also need to adjust the transfers out for administration fees.
Yes, on that one too. So we're doing that just within the budget, a $2.1 million project. Any questions with that?
When is he retiring?
Who? Well, we're going to be possibly we're going to be losing Lance, Jerry, possibly, and Rob.
No, Lindsay can't go.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're getting some chain and shackles. At least till this project's over with, I'm hoping.
so it looks to me like it's going in half. You're saying we only spent 500,000? It's like, I don't know, what am I looking at wrong?
It's the fourth page. It only has 2 line items on it. Is that what you're looking for?
I don't know, we had 7,100,000, now we have 3,100,000.
The 7.1 was this year's budget.
Right,
Because we budgeted for the project, which didn't
Okay.
start this
Whole
year.
thing.
gotcha, okay.
That was one of the amendments we did on the island. We amended the sewer budget to take that out.
Yep. So the fund balance is going from 1.263 million down to 776 million, about 500 grand.
No big projects, Lance, coming up?
Now, one thing we're gonna have to start thinking about is replacing our panels on our station.
Yeah.
Parts are getting few and far between.
How much are those, Lance? Refresh.
Budget price, I got a quote for just one control panel per station, which is around 12.6.
Maybe we can throw some leftover ARPA money at that too.
Are we talking about the lift stations?
Yeah.
Yes.
Control panels for the lift stations?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Slim Jim relays, the alternators and stuff are starting to get hard to find. Everything now is all solid state. So,
Yeah, we're gonna probably, end up looking at, what, doing three to five a year?
that'd be big. Yeah.
We got 12.
What did you say the estimated cost was?
Around 12.6 per,
Yeah.
except for the two pot stations, which would be a little more because we got to pour a pad and do more wiring work for those in order to move all the controls up above. They frown on the pod stations anymore because it's considered a confined space.
And in here, I did put a purchase, no, it's in your water budget, your trailer.
Okay.
Lance, does that take any coordination with the sewer inspectors, or are we looking at two completely separate things?
Two completely separate things.
Yep.
Okay, and the timing of which one does not influence the other?
Not at all.
Okay, thank you.
Each station can be done separately, and it's something, once the panel is built and that, they can bring the panel out, stand it up, and change it out in a day.
And what's the life on them going forward?
Well, the panels we have right now were put in 76 and 77. So the new panels will be all stainless steel as compared to the ones we have now, which are galvanized steel.
We won't have to worry about it.
Yeah, we won't have to paint them, we won't have to do anything.
Probably 30 years.
Who's the manufacturer of those panels?
Actually, the panel itself is just made, and then Kennedy puts in all the guts in them.
Oh, okay.
They done quite a few different panels up in, well, Cotterville had them done. East China's had a couple done. But it's the parts now that are, you can get them, but it's gonna cost us like 3 or 4 times what the part was originally, because I have to either buy them refurbished, or if I can find them new, the cost is actually high. We try to keep at least, 1 or 2 in stock for everything we have in order
I
to
think you're going down the right road with that.
keep stations going.
Is there ones worse than any other, or are they, is there ones that we should do priority, Lance?
Well, I mean, it'd be nice to do a couple of the standard panels if we could. That way we could keep the parts out of those panels
For the
to
others?
keep the other ones going, and then probably the 2 pot stations would be the best.
Maybe we'll plan on trying to do that. All right, any questions? Let's go to water. Now, next year, we're going to have a big water main replacement project. And which is kind of cool. And we've been talking about it and engineering it for a long time. In fact, they were just, I saw some emails, they're trying to, they're working with MDOT to finish up with the permitting process. And then, once we do that, we'll submit it all to Eagle and probably, hopefully, end of the summer, mid-fall, put it out for bid. And we've been seeing that if you give them a 2-year window to actually do the construction, your bids come in a lot better. So you give the contractor more flexibility as to when to do it. So that's probably how we'll structure it. So again, under DPW wages, I bumped it up so we can hire an operator. And cash, capital outlay, let me get to the bottom. Got $650,000, that's paying for our meters that we approved, remember? That we won't get till next year. We bought $500,000 of meters. And it's gonna pay for half, or our share of the vac truck. Remember, we allocated money, ARPA money, to buy a vac truck, and this will be the rest of it. And we're going to share that vac truck with IRA. I'm in the process of getting an agreement written between the two, us and IRA, to share the cost, maintenance, insurance. And I asked them the question, I'm going to ask you guys the question. One of us has to own it. Do we want to own it, or do we want IRA to own it? I'm thinking, let IRA own it, because then they would bill us for insurance and maintenance. You know, like right now, we own the ladder truck, and we have to bill Elginak and IRA for those items, and it's a pain.
We're the ones that have to worry about calling them for maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, who
Yeah.
owns our sewer camera trailer?
I don't know. Good
Is
question.
that owned by, because that's 3 entities, that's why I was just gonna wonder who actually owns it.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll find out. Does it have a license?
It's got a plate on it, and that's the trailer.
Well, that will tell us who. Maybe the county owns it. No.
How is IRA's Treasury Department reporting? Are they good? Are they solid? Are they,
Well, yeah, I mean, things change though.
yeah,
I mean,
people get voted in and out, right?
yeah, I mean, it's gonna be up to me to initiate, to get agreement. I know that's one question, the first question they're gonna ask,
I guess it depends on who's picking it out and actually going to purchase it.
right? Well,
I mean, I don't care. I mean,
yeah, okay,
I'm not against it.
right. I just thought I'd throw that question out
So
because,
the only difference is who does the clerical work.
that's right. So,
Right. Doesn't really matter.
doesn't matter.
How strong is their DPW? How many people do they have?
The department head's kind of weak, but
It's solid.
no. It's solid, but, you know, this is a 20-year thing too. Things change. So,
We have somebody new coming in, so maybe it'd be good not to put that on their shoulders.
Oh, and you have to adjust the administrative wages.
so then we also have under capital outlay improvements, I got $32,000 for a deck over trailer for the water department. Lance, you can tell them what that's for.
That's gonna help one, not cost us for tires for the backhoe every 3 or 4 years instead of driving it. Plus it'll carry our skidster, it'll carry the mini, more for transportation of equipment than anything.
So I have that in this budget.
The other thing, or what we kind of should look at replacing our van.
Yeah. we could probably do that.
That's 1987, so.
I think we should buy that, not lease it.
I was gonna ask the same thing.
Yeah, that's something you keep
That's
for a long
something that we're
time.
gonna keep.
That's something you keep for a long time.
Yeah.
So I'm just spitballing, but I would buy it instead of lease.
What's that cost?
The van?
We're looking, I got a couple prices of about 65 to 68,000. That's with the cube on it and ready to go.
Big cube truck, right?
Yep.
Gas?
Yes.
Four-wheel drive.
No.
No, two-wheel. With the amount of weight that's in it, you can probably go places with that. No four-wheel drive with it, go. You can push snow right over the hood of it.
Would you want gas? Much is that idle?
Well, I just don't know.
We can get a price on either boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we're driving a lot of miles.
No, the truck we have only has, I think it's
Well,
right
that's
around
okay
50.
on level surfaces, but when you get into it.
What's that, Lance?
It's right around 50,000 miles, I think.
50,000? Oh, you got another 20 years on that truck.
But she's probably got quadzillion hours of idling.
Yeah, that's what I said, the truck idles.
Okay. Any questions on water?
Have we got our annual audit from the city yet?
Yes.
Do we know what our rates went up?
It did just a smidge,
Our costs went up?
yeah, just a touch.
So in this, sorry.
We got a small look-back charge.
Okay.
So in the assets on the debt service charge, we had 615,000, it's gonna be 610,000.
Yep.
We spent money out of there for something?
Yes,
That's line 591, 646. Is that the $30 fee we did collect on the water?
646. 591.
It's on the first page, no, eight down, in assets. That service charge right there, 614,
Yep.
614. Is that the $30 on our water bills?
The debt service charge, yes.
That's what we're, okay. So,
And that's going to, see, we're building up our fund balance, so when we do this water main project, that I've seen estimates between $6 million and $8 million for it. We won't, hopefully we won't have to go out to bond, and if we do have to go out to bond, it'll be a very small bond. And we won't have to increase our water rates, our debt service, or anything, any substantially for it. If we stopped that and then restarted it, we'd probably be looking at a pretty big jump in rates when we do this water main project.
so what was it originally for when we started collecting it? The
When they did the back roads, was that, John?
Take your pick. It was District 6, which was the backcountry on the mainland. It was District 7, which was Harson's Island Water District.
Yep.
It was the Algonac Water Plant, which was a $6 million bond. It goes back 40 years.
Yeah, it's always been there.
Yes.
So did we pay it off and then we just kept collecting, that's why we have so much money?
Well, it's part of it. I mean, we've been doing well with managing the money. And like I say, we know we're gonna have this big expense coming up. And it makes sense just to keep the rate steady and collect this so we don't have to borrow in the future.
But the people don't have to approve for anything, you can just tell everybody we're gonna collect $30 from you?
Yeah.
And not tell you what it's for?
Yeah, we set the rates.
It's an enterprise fund, and it's also restricted, so it can only be used for debt. So if we had no ambitions to have any debt,
It
then we
wouldn't be
wouldn't be
debt.
charging it. But we know there's a water main project going on.
I just wondered how, because I see people talking about it, this $30, saying things are paid off and they should still keep paying for it. So I'm trying to understand it.
It's for future costs. It's like, okay, you know you're gonna have to buy a car next year, and it's gonna cost you a lot of money. You start saving today for it.
You don't have to get the people to vote on it or anything, you could just
No?
put it on their bill.
Yep.
I mean, can we charge even more if we wanted?
If we wanted,
It goes for maintenance also.
it goes for maintenance also.
You keep in mind, we just paid off the water plant bond here, not too long ago.
Yeah,
When was that? That's good.
when do we pay that off?
The end of 22?
Year?
Yeah.
About a year ago.
1 or 2 years ago?
Here,
What?
Is that like a lot of what it was for, or when we paid that? I just wondered when it started. You're saying it started 40 years ago. If I look 40 years ago on water bills, I'm gonna see this $30 charge.
well, it wasn't $30, but there was a debt charge, yes.
Paid for the water plant, paid for expansion on Harson's Island, paid for the back roads, paid for a lot of things.
Maintenance of our booster station.
Maintenance, booster station repairs.
Bill.
Doesn't it also pay for the maintenance of the Alpine water station now? Currently?
Yes.
Yes, that's what we're talking
Well, just curious about it.
door when I move.
It also was a partial payment on a water tower in the city of Ogden.
Yeah, water tower. We get a benefit from it. It gives us our water pressure.
Okay.
Lots of things, it goes way back.
Okay.
All right? Any more questions on water? Harson's Island wastewater treatment plant. Okay, our current year, we have $1 million in revenue. And very few expenses. This next year, we will have another $1 million in revenue. And basically, that is all going for engineering and capital improvement to build the plant and the collection system. And we also have additional funding coming. We have $2,250,000 from Lisa McLean, and we're expecting, I just haven't seen it on the letterhead yet, another $2 million from Gary Peters. And I'm still working with DTE to see if they want to be partners in this program and give us a chunk of dough for us allowing them to be our partner, basically.
Where's the first $2 million? Because I thought we got $2 million at first.
We got $2 million from the state.
Where's that?
It's in the budget as income, $1 million this year and $1 million next year.
Okay, so here, invest, state grant, okay.
And that's what I have in the budget being spent. We have earmarks for $2.25 million.
So we're just only taking $1 million at a time, even though
Yep.
we got $2.
Yep, that's how the grant works. They give you half up front, then when you need it, you draw the second one
Okay.
from the MEDC.
I see the 700,000 use of net position. Okay, I don't see the 710,000 in here that we approved for PCE.
It's all wrapped up under capital improvements.
So you just rounded it off.
Yep,
And then all the money we spent in the beginning that we said we were gonna charge to this, you moved from the general fund
yep,
here?
we got, this current one has 22,000, you see it? Engineering fees,
Yep,
I got another 65,000 estimated.
we only spent 300 on legal?
What's that?
We only spent 300 on legal? I thought we spent more.
No,
Okay.
just had to do the property descriptions and transfer the title.
$1.
Yep. That actually came out of my pocket. All right, any questions there?
So how quickly do you think we're gonna break ground and start doing stuff?
Well, it's all the permitting. We're we're trying to work on, the next thing we gotta do is to, I think I talked about it in my last meeting, we gotta do core samples, drilling core, and that will give us what we need to do as far as prepping the site. We determined that there's a possibility of 8 trees on the lot that could be Indiana bat nesting material place. So we can't cut those 8 trees down yet. And I'm almost 100% sure that Eagles bought our, they wanted us to check if there was federal mussels on this site. And I gave them the study from the Crispin Drain when I had 2 divers dive the whole 11 miles or 9, whatever, how long it is, and they didn't find 1 mussel. And so I don't think we have to have that done yet. And they're just, they are finalizing, I hope, and giving us the right to go on there and do core samples, do drilling. So that's the next step. Then once the engineers have that, they know what they have to do for the base. And then, you know, we'll be pouring the slab and putting in the plumbing. Pretty soon, they have the design of the plant done. And I'm expecting them, because I don't want the price of this stuff going up. Plus, there's a pretty good lead time for the SAF and a couple other of the systems, which would be like a half a year. So I wanted to order them now, and just so we'll have them. But we'll probably, how it will come together, we're going to pour the slab and put a lot of it, the pieces in place, and then build the greenhouse around it.
Is there a drying area outside too?
No.
I heard something about a drying area.
Mm-mm.
No?
Mm-mm.
And then it's gonna just service like the 6 downtowns, or is it gonna service some of the houses?
It's going to serve, it's going to service up to at least 250,000 or 25,000 gallons a day, which would do all of downtown, all the houses to Bar Harbor, and all the houses back behind San Souci and LaCroix.
Tajmill?
What? Yes, to
It'll
Tajmill.
do Tajmill too?
And
Houses
there's
too?
a possibility, it depends on the permit that the DEQ gives us as far as the guidelines of what we can, you know, that we have to adhere to. It could be up to process 35,000 gallons a day. We don't know yet, but it will at least be 25,000 gallons a day.
So it kind of starts at the the museum, goes to Bar Harbor,
And it goes back towards the post office.
okay? But it doesn't do Lions Club.
Yes.
Oh, it does do Lions Club.
Artie, didn't we say the media that goes inside the algae wheels is getting better and better all the time?
Yeah.
That's where a lot of the extra capacity.
Yeah, the media they put inside the wheels that you don't see actually treats most of the water, and they've really improved on that tremendously. And That's why they think that we may be able to get extra capacity than we thought originally. So,
Just go down
Um,
further. Okay, so Tajman Marine's
Yep.
included.
you saw all those drawings, didn't you, when we had?
Yeah, but it's kind of, I saw phase 1, 2, 3, and it was hard to tell where it dropped
Well,
off.
yeah, we build the plant, we hook up the town, and then we go and we hook up the rest of the people behind and to Bar Harbor. And
That's phase 2 or is that phase 1?
it's phase 2 of phase 1, how they worded it.
It's all gonna be included in the 4 million.
Yes. Actually, yeah, 2.1 million. Then the other 2 million will extend to the Catholic Church and then down the south channel.
I mean, like upstream, Catholic Church downstream.
Okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, what else do we have? We have our special assessment. These are all special assessments that we collect for people. Basically, I think we collect about, what is that? About $8,000 in special assessments, 16. Anyhow, what we do, I put the total fund balance that's available. We have a fund balance of $73,000 for all these special assessments. And they all can spend it, because they tell us when they're going to spend it. So it's money in, money out. And that's basically how it's allocated between the different special assessments we have. All right.
We're
And-
actually working with auditors right now for an amendment for North Channel Drive, the bridge and the paving.
Yeah,
Because when we approved that, we approved use of general funds, but they didn't record it as use of general funds because we didn't have it actually listed out in the resolution.
oh,
So we're gonna come to the board with that. So
because they pay us the interest.
Yeah, while it goes into the.
We self-funded that project instead of going to borrow the money from the bank. And the county water bond, that's again just paying off a special assessment for the money we collect, and then the bond payment's $20,000 and interest is $4,000, so. That's all I got. I think we have 15 funds.
Where was the money that we put out for the $4.85 million bond? Is that in the police budget?
It's spread out between all the budgets.
Is there, oh, so each one has their own line for that?
Yep.
So it wasn't just for the police, it was for,
Police, general, and water.
It was only needed for the police, but we had to do them all. We had to close them all. For our general, we have building maintenance. We put some extra money in there for cameras.
We do have some money in there for them.
Can have maybe when Mike's pricing cameras at
Yeah.
his building.
We have plenty of room on our controllers, so we wouldn't have to buy the controller, just the cameras. I think we have room for 5 more in this building.
So we do have the process for interdepartmental charges, and this is just something the auditors requested that we review every year of how we come about to these figures. Anybody has any questions on it? And then I would make a motion to accept and file the fee schedule, I guess.
Support.
Okay, motion and support. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thanks for coming, everybody, especially on such a nice day.